too late on that push. So, yeah, there you go. At least he gets the spike down after the round ends, but he won't be able to fight for the post plant.
And
another round on the board, though.
And he just played it well there.
Yeah.
On what was remaining, right? Because, like as you mentioned here, Block, when Food was pushed forward as that Phoenix towards that spawn side, he was basically playing an off angle.
Apa yang terjadi?
Exactly what Cloud9 was trying to do, rotate back towards that B site. He doesn't have to worry about market because they have a trap wire there. And even if they make it through, there's a camera that's still up that FNS can pop open at that exact location and see them move into the site that allows them to just play the retake. So play the numbers to your side, stack to where you don't have the utilities that gives away positions, and then NV just held that good. So 4-2 right now. We have Caboose that's going to push forward and get that first frag, and they caught him off position, off guard right now due to that Hunter's Fury.
Mame has to back off as the paint shells land right next to him. FNS lurking in that corner, able to pick up one. Now Tens does have the op and the Blade Storm. Cyber Cage is going to go down, and Mame gets a little bit of a sneak peek. There's a wallbang kill coming in the end. A flawless round coming out from Envy. The only one on the round that actually even took any damage was Mame. You saw some turbo dunks there coming out towards the tail end. Just making sure the crouch key is working, of course. Always test it. Sometimes it requires a little bit of extra lubricant, so you put it in there and you just gotta like really, put it to the test.
Yeah, as everybody in the chat for Nursery Gamers are making sure the 4 key works. Well, here we're making sure the space bar key works, right? You don't use it as often as, for example, in other games, but there are some good situations where it's very viable, just like as we just saw before. But NV, again, it's all off Caboose, the way that he's off, or Mame rather, the way that he's offing so far as that open. And an early Cyber Cage, though, gives Relic's position away, and is still going to continue to press forward because he just wants to try to get some sort of entry to force the rotation out of Cloud9. But he does have help from Vice this time. They can go for these pop flashes so that he could actually go through with flashpoints rather, and we can try to get a kill. But you saw the position from Mame. As soon as that smoke dissipates, Relic is in a tough corner right now.
Oh, nice.
FNS, just looks the wrong way, and like you mentioned, the timing works out. There's the flash in as well. It blinds Relics a bit. In that time, Food has picked off Mitch. Ten's coming through the market, though. It's a quick pickup. They've got to deal with Food, who's on the back end of this play, but Food isn't a meal. He's a snack, and he's gobbled up. So it'll be a round coming in with the spike being planted for Cloud9 Blue over on the B site. They're going to turtle
How are you feeling?
Got Rolling Thunder. Vice is ready to let it loose.
Waiting.
Starting to work their way in.
Come on! How are you feeling, Jabut?
Currently, there's the showstopper as well. A lot of bolts being
feeling
out here on the round. There's the Rolling Thunder coming in, but it misses Caboose, who now uses the dismiss to get into position. But it's a quick shot from Tens. It puts everything on the remaining two. Curveball now.
Wow!
This time it Tens with a blind shot. It's now down to the spike.
Wow, Tens!
Oh my
God!
It's a miraculous play from Tens, and they go round again.
Oh my God!
All thanks to the heroics of their jet named Tens.
Everything was there for Envy for the retake. The first call kill from Mame. Also Caboose coming in with the Empress, getting the kill and also going with the dismiss. Going invisible, spawning the last two players in the back of the boathouse. They knew exactly where it was. And the curveball was perfect for Food. Yes, he missed the first one, but the second one still blinds Tens, and Tens still kills him blindly. And unfortunately on a 1 versus 1, when it's Tens, oh man, most of the chances he's going to win that one too. So what a play there from Cloud9's #1. And Tens just puts them on their back again, or on his back, and carries them forward on a 5-3 scoreline. But it's not over yet here. Envy, they still have money. The off still reigns supreme here for the defender side, and Mitch is just looking for some control on the A. Though from that turret, they see nothing, so they're still going to try to group up here. Potentially, they try to execute towards this A side again.
Tens clearing out the wine cellar. Not sure he's old enough to be doing that. I'm gonna check his ID. Food gets the first pickup on the round. Yeah, this is true. Maybe. It's Cloud9 Blue at a man disadvantage currently. They're without Relics, who is their lurking raise. Interesting role, but it does work, and we've seen it played that way on this map times in the past. There's the explode onto the site with The Jets starting things off. Stuck inside the Cloudburst, and the flashes proved to be a little bit too much for them to deal with. Caboose is around the corner, and Tommy with the backup from on high.
30
Shinobi with the
seconds
blind
left.
kill through the dark cover. Will now pop the ult to port away. Cypher in position. Yeah, that gets canceled. So now Shinobi has to try to make it work. As Shinobi did not pick a safe position to pop that ult, just dropped it in the middle of the site with 13 seconds left. This is the right play.
10 seconds
Hide in the
left.
corner and hope to God they don't clear it.
Oh, they'll chase it for sure. Big shadow step, but that's too late. Luke's already around the corner. I think it
No,
was
the
just
shadow
trying to...
step got screwed up. It like sent him off to the right a little bit, so he was actually visible off
Yeah.
the shadow step.
And unfortunately, like, that's something that has popped up. I saw a little bit there where people that are coming out of the shadow step, where you think you're going to aim of where he's going to come out of, he's always going to sidestep just a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. So I think that's a little bit iffy into maybe what's going on with the patches, but I'm sure it's going to be fixed very soon.
Right here.
Unfortunate for sure.
Right here.
What happened there for Shinobi. But again, Envy just did a great job to hold their grounds towards that A side. Gotta give it to Crash from how he stayed cool. Despite them dashing into the site, he just waited for everything to dissipate from smokes, from flashes, and from paranoias to still capitalize on a couple of kills with help from Mame on top of that with the operator, who's looking for another entry into this round.
Ooh,
Tommy
nice.
with a quick shot on
I'm middle.
the edge. It's a nice flick up as well as it blows through his temporal lobe, but it's still a 4-on-4 as he was taken down immediately, and that's a nice little upgrade. They'll be falling back off the back of that one and trying to regroup and find an opening elsewhere. Now Caboose has actually managed to sneak into spawn.
Bokong.
Look at the play currently, wrapping all the way around through attacker spawn. Which
Going
is
back towards mid though. This is a little bit off timing here, Bond.
this is surprising too, because typically when you're on the flank, it doesn't work when you're faced against a Killjoy. So Cloud9 might not be expecting this, because more often than not, you cannot flank against a Killjoy because of that turret presence. But I would love to see what
30
Caboose is going
seconds
to
left.
do here. If Caboose times this right, it's a free kill onto Tens and might be able to spot out these players in mid as well. It's all about the read. You've got Tens now about to expose himself to Caboose, and Caboose just takes the guaranteed kill. Going to start going back towards
And
the
you're
B
welcome.
side to try and group up with the rest of the squad. They don't even need his help, as Food and FNS go big on the defense, and they've now brought us to a tie score at 5 apiece.
And that's just a great job
Caboose.
to start things off, Mame and FNS. Sometimes his camera is put all the way up towards the arches, so he just spots anybody that's running into the site. But this time he's decided to switch it up a tad bit, putting it maybe a foot or two on the left side, so you can see over the smoke that's been popped up. So when he tags
This is
somebody,
my spot.
Mame comes out
This
for
is
a
my
kill. Did
intel.
not expect probably 3 players, but at least he did his job.
This is my intel.
FNS is able to tag a second player on top of that. Keeping Cloud9 coming in, falling back a bit, and again allowing the flank to come through as well right after. So well done there for Caboose too, because when he saw that FNS, or sorry, that Tense kind of back into him, he knew the execution was going towards B, which allowed his 2 players to also hold their grounds towards that B side.
Shadows traveling.
Numbers advantage here for Cloud9 as Envy has clawed their way back into this game. It was looking a little bit more one-sided in favor of Cloud9 Blue, but Envy, who has brought us to this tie point. Eventually, Cloud9 is going to have all colors of the rainbow. They're gonna have teams all across the board. They're gonna have to start going into patterns. Cloud9 flag. Nice shot coming out from Mame to pick off Vice. It's a quick flick in, moving up catwalk, and a nice
You
escape
should
as
run.
well. As the awkward off-omen player manages to escape. Now, Tens does not have the same luck. The Killjoy ult will at least open up the defense just a bit. It's gonna shove them into hell, and Caboose is actually able to
exactly
dismiss to get a little closer.
30 seconds
But it's
left.
all up to Relics now. Relics with 21 HP. Nice shooting onto his first target, Caboose, but there's another one in the same position, and Crashies just waits.
Let's run to
Envy
Beber
has
sweep.
stolen the lead
Last
away
round in the half.
Oh, in
right
the half.
before the half ends, and has a chance to potentially close things out 7-5, as the buy coming in from Cloud9 Blue is not going to be that great.
Definitely, it's going to be a broken buy coming into the last one.
Spectre
now.
lah.
Cloud9, even at the same time, I was just,
Papa pag Spectre.
I sound a little bit sad because I saw the idea of Mitch throwing that nano swarm. He was trying to land it towards hell so he could pop it off while the ultimate was up, so he could damage as many players as he can to try to move in and help Relics, who was still lurking from that B side. And that's one thing that, you know, he had to stay back for, because Food continuously pushes forward right now, and then not one person's right there. And now he's going to look for that information. The first paint shell is going to lower it down, but that's going to be it. Right now, Relics is going to be able to escape safely, but 10 still falls early as Mummy continues to reign supreme with that operator. That's going to be a one-man early advantage for Envy as they fall back into the sides. You get the kill, that's all you need to do. No need to reassess, no need to forward, especially due to the fact that you pushed Relic so far back early into the round with Food to run it back.
Flight.
Okay. So Mame was trying to go for a repositioning after the run it back to try to get the kill onto Relics. But Relics gets the nice opener there, so that's going to even things up already on a 4
Relic
and a
ulti.
lot of map control at this point because Food rotated all the way towards A side. So FNS is going to be on his own. At least he got tagged by a camera, was able to tag Skylar rather with the camera to force him back. But
Reload.
again, it's only him lurking still, so they don't have more information of where Cloud9 is currently playing.
You can call him Skylar because you're tight with him like that.
Yeah, you know, no big deal.
30 seconds left.
Relic's gonna be the tip of the spear for Cloud9 as they make their way towards B. And oh, I love this position from Food, but did they spot him at the last second?
Bam!
Maybe they saw it. There's the ult being popped.
Ooh.
The answer is no. The rocket
Ooh,
also
nice.
misses, but it doesn't matter.
Come on, blending. Bomb Shinobi. Bomb blending.
Last
Best.
second execution.
Kurun.
And it happens here as well. But he misses the first pulse. Had he hit that, he
nice.
likely would have stopped the plant. But he's just off the mark.
Yeah.
Really
Really.
lined it up the way they needed it to happen. There's the rolling thunder coming through. Everything being sent in that direction as it is the last round. Look, Veer through the wall. Might find them an opener. Get blind the initial target, but it's all up to Caboose. Relics will close things out with a nice little 3-piece at the end of the first half. We are tied up at 6-6.
Switching sides.
as
Switching
Envy and
side.
Cloud9 Blue fight for control of the scoreboard.
And that's all done off the back of two great operators, right? One for Cloud9 being Tens, the other one from Envy being Mame at this point. And after that, it comes down to how they're executing to the sites. And right now, I think Cloud9 does a very good job with these last-second executions into the site. The rounds like that also as well could also have shown and dictate how they were able to get 6 rounds. Technically, maybe at that point, it could have been more one-sided there for Envy, should they have won that round where Tens actually clutched that 4 versus 1. Then again, though, the reality is that it's 6-6 scoreline. We'll see if Envy could get something done here on the attacker side, where Tens is working out with the frenzy and looking to push aggressively towards the blind or the B link side and sees nobody there. So that nullifies things for a bit, gets a bit of information out of that, but we're playing very
Awas.
for Envy.
Nanti jatuh cinta. Mampus lu.
They're going to be running it towards this A site. You've got Relics starting to bail out as well. The dart giving away the position
Nice.
as he moves up. It's a nice little
Nice.
kill onto Caboose, and there's actually some damage being dealt elsewhere. I like the barricade coming out as the boombot comes through, but Food waiting with the ghost. Quick couple of taps onto Relic's head. And it's now down to a 2-on-3. They've still got
Nice.
Killjoy coming in on the backside, and we saw how
Shinobi,
good he
Shinobi.
was in the pistol on attack, and he's doing it again
One
with the
enemy
frenzy.
remaining.
Not that common of a purchase, but it's working out. The swarm grenade goes down, and it's right behind the default box, but it actually doesn't go deep enough. As he got blinded by the paranoia at the attempt to throw, and there's a masterfully played double swing coming in from Envy. They read it right. Both players peek at the same time, and he just doesn't stand a chance.
Berat
And
euy.
again, it was just off a gamble of trying to figure out how Envy
BO5
was gonna play
ya.
that pistol round first. Maybe what they studied was thinking that they were going to try to go for some sort of a mid control from that B link. But then again,
Awas.
Envy said, look,
Nanti jatuh
which actually
cinta.
caught 2 players off guard. And it's actually nice to have somebody like Caboose that's going to play towards that back mid. The first one to try to get that information. And Food capitalize on a second
Oh,
kill.
Lost
Because
Factory.
Food's getting the kill, goes for a devour, and then he heals up while he's fragging some more. And Food could be there to go for a trade, and if his teammate dies, has
Wow.
to work with and try to get the kill. But then again, though, it's going to be a save round for Cloud9. Tens opens it up on Catwalk with a sheriff shot, while the rest of them are still looking to trade it out, but they're just looking for this mid-aggressive push potentially, but there's nobody there to attack, with the exception of Tens there on that Catwalk.
Yet again, Cloud9 in that advantageous position of picking up the early frag. Tens, oh, just can't quite get the timing right.
Turret down.
Has to lean back just a bit. Mitch trying to lay down damage. It's up, yep, there, you got it. Relics with the backup
berapa
certainly
tuh?
makes it easier. Now he hits the stride with the pistol. But at that point, the damage is already
Apa
too
tapi?
much to overcome.
Aduh.
Standing.
Tens is trying, but
Spike
the
planted.
sheriff just
Berat.
getting out of control. It's now Vice with a frenzy as the breach. Still has a lot of skills to work with, just decides to dive in. And FNS is there waiting to greet him. 8 rounds for Envy, but the first full buy round will be coming out from Cloud9 Blue.
Cold
We'll see
and
what they decide to do
blue.
with it. With the way they spent in that last round, though, there is a little bit light. They're a little bit light on the cash with some, but it will be enough that they'll be able to field a full buy, just maybe a little bit light.
This is my intel.
That's right, and at that point too, was as Tens wasn't able to get that many kills in the first few rounds.
This is my
He can't
sport.
really go in for like, hey, let me drop you a rifle for Vice, and then I'll go with the Blade Storm. So they're going for a small shield, a Vandal for Tens. It's going to be Bulldog for Vice too, and you see how differently the defensive is played for Cloud9. As I talked about
Whatever.
control from abilities, he always leaves an alarm block towards the back of the spawn side, leaving market kind of open, where these players can play up inside the side of Courthouse, and the turret is going to be the first point of contact to get that information, and then you have the kits, the flash points from Vice, the double peaks that could come through across as well, and when the turret is going to spot some players on that sidewalk, where you're going to see basically the nanostorm pop out and allow you to kill some time for your teammates to rotate over. So let's see how Envy will attack into the site, and it starts off with a run attack.
Food runs in, hits the switch after flipping the switch.
Ayo,
The
pembantayan.
openers, though, for Cloud9 as they cement themselves as defensive force to be reckoned with.
Nice.
It's down to just one.
Wow.
Despite
Wow.
all that fluff and
Flawless.
from Envy, that's a flawless round victory. As Cloud9 Blue look at the Phoenix Flames that came out on the site, and they stomp them out and spit on it for just a little bit of extra oomph. It's a 1-round lead for Envy currently, and they're gonna try and spend whatever they can to stay in this, prevent that lead from disappearing and going back to a tie score. So you've got a couple of rifles being for both Caboose and Mummy.
Here.
You saw that from Vice when he was playing that Gold House rather. They never went for a double peek. It just stayed back there and consistently pumping flash points for Mitch to come out and get those kills. So they're going to have to think of a different strategy on how they want to overtake that back of the site here for Envy at this point. But now as they see how fertile back it is here for the defenders,
Oh, suck
they're
that.
gonna try to have a test to see how mid is going to work out in their favor. Now though, as you said here, Bach, it's going to be a broken buy that they have for Cloud9, but they're still going to try to go eventually for this mid control and this mid split.
Posisi.
Mitch in that same position he was in the last time that we saw Envy try to go for this push towards B. They've actually managed to make it up towards
Tense.
spawn, but FNS, who's kind of hanging
Pindah
out
pula,
back
pindah,
front,
pindah.
managed to get a couple of kills, and you can see them changing their plan out off that. They want to go back to
Pindah ka ah.
but they're going to take their time to get there, as they
Anjir.
have to run all the way back up Catwalk. That does allow Relics to get into a better and more advantageous position. Look at where FNS is. Relics has no idea. FNS with his big brain
30 seconds left.
just
Spike
getting the
planted.
best of Cloud9. And now he's on the hunt
Chefing.
as well, looking for those final kills. He wants the ace.
Well, the last two guys, you know exactly where they were and exactly where they play because they're in the same spots this round too. They're just looking to save their weapons inside that B side. Crossfire set up there, but man, FNS did a good job on that lurk play. I think for him to call, let's fake towards this B side, and I'm going to see they're going to try to push towards A main. Maybe he didn't expect 2 players to push through, and maybe he didn't expect some loud steps to be heard towards the back mid. But thanks to that, he punished them, and now they're moving into the site now to See if the last two guys can stop. It's gonna be Vice and Mitch. First one is spotted.
Nice.
Turret on top of that too.
Nice.
To stay alive for a bit and for the second kill, as Mitch is still holding his angle. Right now, they just don't want to give his position away, so that at least, at the worst, they can save one weapon. But it seems as though they'll be able to save both into this round.
Dua,
So,
mati.
again,
Ayan.
a great round there for FNS.
Bulldog. Udah pun maju.
9-7. Envy trying to take control of this first game. We'll see if they can keep it. Again, it's important to note that this is Cloud9's pick. However, in the last series, what did we see? Teams trading picks. Now,
Yep.
I will say this. Split has been a very
NV4.
good map for Envy for a long time. If you look at the old roster and the current roster as well, they play Split quite well. So, if Envy can manage to scrape together a win here over Cloud9, that'd be a huge boost, as Split is going to be difficult for Cloud9, with the exception of them getting to start on the defense. However, we've seen really strong first half from Envy on the attacking side as well. So, definitely not a team you can just shrug aside as being like, well, we get to start on the defense, so we're fine. There is an alarm bot down, and that's going to spot them out of pitch now.
Mati.
Tell great flash.
Calm
Nice
down.
follow-up paranoia as well with the double flashpoint. Really well played from Cloud9. A solid
Run.
mid that prevents Envy from really being able to gather up control.
Yeah. Again, as Cloud9 was able to sell that fake Envy was able to sell that fake on that previous round. We readapted here for Cloud9. Look at how far back you have Vice playing. He's playing on the staircase here of B, and is still able to a flashpoint for Mitch as soon as the alarm bar
B.
He saw 3 players there.
30
he could have
seconds
been
left.
dead to rights if a flash wasn't there. So thankfully, they're able to run that utility together and get that first kill. Make it a 5 versus 4 situation where finally they turtle back into the site where they've been
There.
such a huge anchor with this double play too.
Nowhere to run!
Position from Mitch should work out nicely.
Aduh.
This is a
10
great ult
seconds
coming
left.
out from Crashies though, as Envy manages to crack into that B site despite the early
Spike
presence
planted.
from Cloud9 in mid. And now they've got the spike down as well. No ults available for anyone at this point, so it's just a game of
Nice.
rifles, and there's Shinobi picking up that first kill. Hot hands.
No, bro, no, bro.
Does go down top stairs, coming in from Phoenix on site.
Dapat.
Work their way
Come on.
with the rebound. Doesn't stand
Referring area, dalam.
on Crashies.
Nice.
Stuck inside the dark cover. As great as a push it was from Envy to get onto the site after struggling to gather up mid.
Mantap jiwa, bro.
Cloud9 comes through with a fantastic retake, and 3 players survive the round win for C9.
It was such a beautiful entry there for Envy to start things off too. They played against the smoke that was thrown up on the sidewalk, and that recon dart gave enough position to see if there was only 1 or 2 players playing in the back of Boathouse. As they only saw Vice, that's how you saw that wide swing come in on the sidewalk, knowing that Mitch is playing somewhere out in the open of the site instead. And then the Hunter Sphere, of course, makes it perfect for them to go for a pulse plan situation. But somehow on a retake, the only thing that was really used there and that was left on a retake was Shinobi with a dark cover. And a dark cover covering the right side of the entrance just allowed Tens to move in towards that left side on that sidewalk.
Oh, mati.
Back to everybody again.
Oh, sasama.
It's another thing that you don't like
Mantap.
and sign. But now into this
Ada
round,
pula
they're
di
just gonna
dalam.
try to move a lot faster than they
Buset.
did on that previous
Ulti
round.
udah.
They catch Cloud9 off guard. They move into
Ultimate.
B, and they get a plant where it's going to be the
Ulti.
retake play again. But you do have alert with this Spectre.
Oh.
Crashies does a little bit of work. Does take down Shinobi. Vice with a quick response. Oh, I like the way this ult comes through because it has a little bit more height than one might anticipate. You tried to spam through that wall, it really wouldn't work out. Tens flies in with the knives out. No, yeah, that doesn't work out well at all, despite the fact that they have
Wow.
the ult coming in, the lockdown. They don't actually wait for it to pop. They try to get in as it's building to that final point to fall before that can happen. They did trap one though. I guess that's something. But it's gonna be around for Envy as the back and forth battle continues in the second half.
But here's one of the things as well for Envy. They're able to push aggressively and explode into a site, but while they're actually clearing the site and going for a plant,
Let's go.
FNS is still able to throw trap wires into the ground before he actually gets into a position without getting killed. So relying a lot on his
Waduh.
for him,
Nggak ada yang
but
kena.
trap wires down there, that's big balls, and you got to give it for how he's calling it as the IGL for Envy. Because of that, when they had the blade storm come through, well, he got trapped by the trap wire on that retake, and that's how they're able to.
Oh.
But next round, though, a trade after trade of 4 versus 4, but low HP on the defense is going to be Relic.
Not ready.
Nice.
Rocket coming out around the corner from Relics. Doing great work as
Oh.
there's the quick peek coming out from Tens. A
Thanks,
fast round, much faster than we've seen previously as Cloud9 stops the push dead in its tracks. And we have a zipper forming on the scoreboard. Back and forth they go as they zigzag their way on the scoreboard. The buy gonna be a little bit difficult for Envy. So strapped for cash, they're gonna have to work with pistols. Couple of sheriffs being brought into the fold. You've also got FNS with the frenzy, but on the opposite side, you've got the op. You've got rifles for everyone. So
Alarm bot
this would be a
out.
nice chance for Cloud9 to not only tie the score, but also build up some money to potentially fall back on as well.
Found alarm bot down.
And with that, the positioning of the alarm bot is a little bit more further up here too. So you're starting to see that Cloud9 really wants to fight back for this mid because it's been explosive for 2 rounds previously for Envy. This round though, with the sheriffs,
Wih, mulu mereka.
they're just going to try to pull explode towards this area where
Aduh,
Mitch
tolong,
gets caught off
cover.
guard. He gets dinked out of that, forced out of position, and he gets paranoid. Thank God that he was able to put down that nano swarm so that he's able to help.
Masuk tuh. Nice.
Also now hold their ground. Envy with the pistol.
Cover it.
Vice trying to dodge the pulses, but it's not working out.
Enak
So
sekali
Elvis
Anda.
goes for the heal over the dismiss, and it backfires as he's dispatched of by Mitch. They're still trying to work their way onto the site, and Mitch is just anchored in the boathouse. Relics from distance. Let's get a kill onto Food. Mission shot.
Nice.
Oh, there you go. It's actually Food who falls there.
Kaan.
And Food was the one that picked up
30
the kill
seconds
onto
left.
Relics. Mummy decides, hey, I'm going to take the guarantee. Go for the spike plant over on A. Got it right.
Ooh.
Timing. Tens is there.
Wah.
Just quick.
God.
That's a real ball.
God,
By
C9.
the way, coming in from Tens with just
10.
15 HP. Had he been prepared, he
Happy
brings it down
baby.
to a one-on-one where he
10
actually
versus
has
10.
HP advantage over the Killjoy. So a little bit sketch. Could have been a round potential there. But Tens knows what he's doing far more than I do in the game. And he ends up coming out on top of that one-on-one exchange. This is a big round for both
Big
teams.
round.
That round ended up being a lot more costly for Cloud9 than maybe it should have been. So both teams are in dangerous positions here. If they lose this, their money is going to be in just pieces. But even if they win it and they don't win it easily, their money also isn't going to be good.
Waduh, mati Tens.
Now we have one of those rare occasions that you mentioned before, Bob. It comes down to aggressive, offensive operators. And you're still going to have
Run, Mitch.
and it's still going to be a
Run,
close
Mitch.
turning things off though for Envy. We're looking for this mid-control. The curveball kind of misses, blinds himself on top of that, but gives the information that Mitch is in there. So the flashpoints are coming through, but he has some support. Vice is trying to flashpoint back.
Run.
One that's flashpointing to actually try to hold the push.
Aduh, rata.
Still manages to get the kill. Crash is falling right behind, and to dismantle the defense actually on the B side. So a great execution from Envy at the end of the day, despite them being held back slightly, and the numbers advantage that you kind of had from Cloud9
Spike planted.
at the crossfire set up at the market. You still had Envy did a great job to play for the numbers, play for the trades, and still take the upper hand out of all of that fight.
Well, now Relics is the last one standing, just hanging on to an op in deep mid. And he's holding it with white knuckles right now. Fearing a push that could come from
Nice.
the angle. The jiggle peek from Food, not anticipating that deep set from Relics. So gets a little bit too far up before going for that little slide of the shoulder. Relics able to take a nice chunk out of his chest. But it will be an 11th round regardless.
No.
Coming in
No.
for Envy. as they take control of the scoreboard.
Oh, yes.
You know, they say that
Ooh.
VALORANT is a child game, look to cartoon
Aduh.
graphics, make kid player happy like children's show, but as a grown man, I am loving the games we've been getting today, and this one is definitely delivering as we go deeper and deeper into this second half, getting closer and closer to that 24th round, and the potential for overtime continues to loom. As Tens is going to rock a pistol and go for the Blade Storm play.
Ulti to Tens.
We've got 3 ults on both sides, so this round is likely going to have a lot of action.
Exactly, as we get near closer to the end of regulation, the money is also not that great by the players too. So you're seeing the situations where how did they adapt with the money situation that they have left? And Ten was trying to shoot that off, but he actually didn't shoot it on time. Or actually didn't shoot it at all until he realized it and finally broke it to break free. Thankfully nobody was there to trade off. But they're pushing aggressively for Envy inside this A side. Mitch is playing at the bottom here of Hell. There's an opponent just
Aduh.
gets dismissed away, and Mame moves forward. So somehow this
Aduh.
is push towards the A side. Now Relic
Kalah ini bang.
standing on a 4 versus 1 does have a showstopper, but it's looking at the match point, and it will be for Envy as Caboose steals that last kill.
Match
We have
point.
12 to 10. How is that money going to be down for CLOUD9? Can they catch up? Can they bring this into overtime?
It's going to be a brutal round likely for CLOUD9 as Envy has got themselves to this point. Yeah, look at that cash. The credits just not where they need to be.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're still trying to figure out how they want to spend, so there is a Bulldog in play for Tens. Thing is, never count them out. You've got relics as well with the showstopper, so there's at least something there. Question is whether or not it will be enough. Right now, there is almost no presence towards B whatsoever. Stacking most of their eggs towards short and mid. In fact, they're sending a lot of their resources away towards that A site. And even the jet is now starting to shift over. This B site is completely empty. There is not a lick of utility even dropped in that portion of the map.
Right now you see how it's stacked up here for CLOUD9 because they know the money's low, so they're just going to gamble it up towards the A. Just have one guy watching that flank or watching a B hold on by himself, and who none other than Tens right now with that Bulldog. But Envy knows that, you know, there's got to be something going on because nobody has pushed out to get any information.
No, bro.
So they're still playing it very cautious.
Nice.
Mitch still manages to get the first kill. We're staying alive here for CLOUD9 as they drop the first 2 towards his mid side, and Shinobi Shadow steps away. So this is huge right now for CLOUD9
Nice.
to stay alive.
$30 seconds left.
Crashies working his way towards the wine cellar. CLOUD9 has somehow managed to get themselves to this point.
Enemy tag.
Can't quite count them out yet. We mentioned it, still possible, still certainly possible, and they've managed to
Saving.
kind of break Envy on the round.
10 seconds left.
Running away, licking their wounds, saving what little they've got to bring it into the next round. So Mummy's got the op. He's going to settle himself in the corner and his teammate right by his side. Round number 24 will occur, and the chance for overtime is certainly there. We'll take a look at the scoreboard so you can see what the buy is going to look like coming in from both teams. Losing relics towards the end, yeah, that actually hurts. The cash, not exactly the worst, as there is money to go around, but you can see there is at least a little bit of impact, as that gun could have potentially been dropped towards Shinobi and allowed him to get full armor. But instead, he's got to go down to light armor, and then look at the opposite side. Envy's got an op, which even though it's the attacking side, the op has been a little bit different in the last few weeks since updates have kind of changed the way the game has been played. There's no op on the other side, no match for Mummy on the defense.
And I like the fact that despite them having that much money, they didn't want to try to go into the side to try to hurt the economy of CLOUD9, because the idea is they could still buy into the next round, but they don't want to give that op necessarily a 10 into the next round. So that's why they save their weapons. But into this round here, Mumbay's trying to get an opening towards that side, but it got smoked out. He's going to have to fall back and wait for a bit. But Envy continues to play this very slowly, where CLOUD9, they're just shifting back and forth. An early stack towards the A side did not work out, or they don't see anything to start, so they're looking to shift back towards the mid, where they can have faster rotates. Look how passively Vice is playing at the same time, too.
You should run.
There's that Killjoy ult. It's interesting to say that the way that it
Aduh.
plays actually blocks out mid,
Kalah.
but it's actually Tens
Berat.
that goes down, and oh no, not like this. They got so close. Surely it can't end this way.
30 seconds
NV has
left.
a 5-on-3 as they start to work their way into B. The spike's going to be
Di
planted,
bokong,
and
bro.
Caboose has one hell of a flank. It's an easy kill onto Relics. A dismiss to get away. There was another target inside the market. It's Shinobi, but it's all falling apart.
Oh.
It's now down to just Shinobi. And what can he do? Takes out the first target. There's a Phoenix flying in with a flashbang just behind him. It will be Envy who take map number 1 in the series over Cloud9 Blue, 13-11. A fantastic. First map, though, really setting the pace for the
Envy
series.
fans rejoice. I know there's like 5 of you in chat.
Halloween tahun ini bakalan lebih seru dengan lagu-lagu dari The King.
9 Thailand. Indonesia kita sudah kah? Mortal mana dah?
Yo, chat, have y'all ever looked in the mirror and just like told yourself, wow, you look like a fucking homeless man? Anyone? Just me? Anyone? All the time, every day. Okay, chat, wait. My bad. Chat, go take a shower and get a fucking haircut, bro. Listen, does anybody ever just like dressing up to like go do shit just do like simple shit? Do y'all have barbers open, like outdoor barbers? I've seen some areas starting to doing like outdoor barbers and shit. I don't know if you guys feel like that's super safe or not, but I think it's all right. For the most part. Only losers do that. Oh, true, I guess. I'm gonna grow out an afro. That's what's up. Hey, dude, grow out the afro, my guy. How many of you guys have cut your hair? I kind of want to learn how to cut my hair, but I'm also afraid of like cutting my hair one day and then going live and then you guys making fun of me. Like, I would get it, like maybe if I had like straight hair, I would be more comfortable with cutting my hair. I think it's a lot more simple. But when it comes to cutting my hair, it's like there are layers to this shit, dude. You gotta like, there's layers. You gotta go with one height, and then you gotta go with another height, and you gotta go with another height, and you gotta give yourself a fade. You gotta learn to save you so much money, but yeah, bro, but like I'm gonna fuck my shit up, and then I'm gonna look like a dumbass. Oh. All right, is there anyone with nappy hair with my hair that cuts their own hair? Because all you Seans are probably talking about cutting your hair when it's different. You know what I'm saying? Seans. I'm just fucking. Me? How did you learn, bro? YouTube? Listen, I just gotta make sure I'm on the same page as some of y'all, bro. My girlfriend cuts mine. I'm not lining myself up. Mine's straight as fuck. You shave it all off. God, do I really gotta go bald again, bro? That's tragic. I did it a bunch on me and my little brother. I kind of like the short hair look. My afro's getting too big. I don't like it.
Well, that lettering is small into your watcher block, but you were able to read a lot, and that's why.
I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie. I need to get a trim, or I need to like trim my own hair or something. I'm afraid of trimming my own hair though. Oh. No, boy. I guess, you know what, I think it'd be funny if I tried. Myth is doing CS50, Pog U. Yeah, I'm trying to learn. I only did week 1 so far.
I finished my week 1 homework. I gotta do week 2. It's actually really fun. I'm enjoying it so far. But we'll see what happens once I actually get into it. But just based off of, you know, whatever week 1 stuff was, I'm like, I'm into it. It was super easy. But it's like child shit, so of course it's fun. Learn on stream. Yeah, let me take Harvard CS 50 course with chat. Fuck that, dude.
Best out of 3, it is going to be split. And now at this point, we're going to have to see if Cloud9 has what it takes. Topical at some point too, where they had a big win versus Gen G yesterday. So to start things off there, we will have things towards mid. But for the rest right now for Cloud9, or for Envy, they're trying to work towards this A side take.
Right off the bat, they get 2 players up ramp. And they're going to start working their way up towards heaven as well.
Bombardier.
Relix is here playing defense. Caboose sends his boombot in. Relix responds with a boombot of his own. Very slow as of right now, though. Tick down past the minute mark on the clock. And nothing's really happened as of yet. Some ability trading in both directions, but no one's been spotted. No one's even really shot a bullet as of yet. They're going to start going back towards B, and this would be a massive misread from Envy, as that's where a brunt of the forces are right now for Cloud9. You can see 4 players playing B currently. Killjoy up in heaven. Reyna right by their side. Breach and Omen in sight, ready with the parallel. There's the parallel.
30 seconds left.
Great read coming out from Cloud9 as they crush this push right off the bat. The remaining 2 members are like, yeah, nope, not having any of it. Tries to go in and play tricks with the port. The shadow step doesn't come through. Tens gets a 3K on the round. Shifting rolls from the Jet to the Reyna, and it's Cloud9 Blue who come out big in the pistol.
Yeah, Envy right now, when they play their attacker side on split, they like to take a little bit of mid control to start things off. And then they always have like a 3-man team trying to work an entry somewhere. So we saw that at the beginning towards that A side. But the thing is, you have Mitch playing as that Killjoy, placing all of his utilities towards that A site, where they're comfortable for Cloud9 to just stack up all the way towards the other side, play the numbers, and bring that dogfight all on that B side, and play retake on A if needed. Now, if the turret or the alarm bot spotted a few, the Nanostorm is going to hold them a little bit longer, and then they're going to be able to just play the retake. Now, Envy walks into a trap, Cloud9 takes the upper hand, and now into this round.
Oh, goodbye. You goodbye.
Mitch and Shinobi and Weiss also hold their ground.
So not the greatest start for Envy, but it's okay. It is the attack side of split, and we already drove that home pretty aggressively in our first series earlier. And they did also lose the pistol. After a gamble, roll of the dice stack towards B worked out really nicely for Cloud9. Could have been a gamble or could have just been a good read. Either way, we'll see the first buy come in for Envy. It's rifles across the board, where we still got the diet rifle for Relix. I don't even want to say it's the diet rifle. I feel like that's insulting to diet in general. We'll call it like the RC Cola of rifles. The Shasta, if you will.
Whoa.
And we've got some Spectres in the mix. But again, slow off the bat. It's quiet. It's the calm before the storm currently in this first buy round.
Well, we'll start things off here with Caboose trying to get some sort of entry or some mid presence, but there's 3 players from Cloud9 just trying to work off a flash point later on, but he's going to peek out the first kill onto Mame, and he runs away with a dismiss, and they all fall back out of that one, playing the numbers on their side. So as we talked about, Envy liking to take control of mid side first and then go for some execution in the end. Well, they pay the price. Cloud9 reads into that to get the first kill. Now they stack the sides and have the numbers advantage.
10's still here. 10's just feeling it. Decides to just get aggressive. Throws down the Lear as well. Will dismiss away just in case there's another looming threat, but there's not. It's now down to 2. As Envy decides to head back over to A, where 10 has changed positions.
30
nice
seconds
shot
left.
Coming out from FNS though. A quick flick over. And in the meantime, Crashies took care of the alarm bot and snuck his way up into heaven as well. With 22 seconds left, though, they need to make a move, and they've still got Omen sitting on the site.
Shinobi.
Has to play this one patiently and wait for them to peak. There's the first one, and that's pretty much the round over.
10 seconds
Paranoia
left.
goes a little bit too high, goes over the head. Crashies, but those bullets don't. They go through the head. 3-0, the start for Cloud9 Blue on the defensive side of Split.
So as you said here, Tenz is currently feeling it on this second map. They definitely want to bring this to a third one onto Blind. And the off angles that he's playing so far as that Reyna pays off. The aggressive piece on that mid side, the second one on top of B Heaven. Just to get that numbers advantage for Cloud9. The rest of the time, the rest of the group, just sit back, let the opponents come to you. Despite Tenz dying first, you have wasted enough of their time for NV.
Ole.
Seconds remaining to try to get into
Ole. Ole.
Tracks as well on the A side.
Ole.
And even when you looked at the first two rounds that were played here, Bob, NV only had one kill.
Ole.
Is still not going to be right. To add that 300 credits on each round.
Oh, nice.
It was a little slow on the flick over. Tenz had all the time in the world for that kill. NV back yet again as they now try to go towards heaven. They're gonna have to deal with this Killjoy hardware. This utility coming out from Killjoy proving to be a serious nuisance for them as they try to work towards B. They're gonna have to wait for the nano swarm. Just waiting around the corner. It's a great flash to get some setup, and he's just gonna stick around, even though that healing ray gives away into the corner, and they don't even get a clear. Tenz has a 4K on the round. We are 4 rounds in, and Tenz is on double digits.
Double digit times.
Ole. So utility that they have right now for Cloud9, they're using it very, very well to actually continue these double setups, where it's actually enabling Tenz to continue to get these first kills. And as you see right now, they're actually changing things up. They put a turret up on that mid side, and they're going to play that semi-passively so they can take more control towards the ropes and towards A Heaven. Look how pushed up they are. Shinobi is going to get, or try to maybe get a Paranoia out. No, it's going to be a smoke instead. So NV back onto a gun round. Because of that smoke, they're going to have to slow things down for a bit. But we're not falling back here for Cloud9.
Nice.
And that's because
Ole.
the audio was never heard. They never took that corner. And Shinobi.
Food
Brandy.
gets into an awkward exchange with the defense. The flashes are on point as well, causing a slowdown and delay for Envy. You can see over on the A site, Relic's blast packs away from the threat that's around the corner. You've still got Tenz up in heaven, currently waiting in a really difficult spot, though. Puts a lot of pressure on Shinobi. Shinobi has to go big to watch the play coming up from ropes. To give him the backup.
Ole.
Shinobi finds the second. That's exactly what Tenz needed. It's the backup he was relying on. First Lear's out, second Lear out as well. Mummy's stuck. Help, but he doesn't have any. Everyone's dead. Shinobi finds a 4K. You know, Shinobi's not exactly a player that gets much love when it comes to the stats. Gets a lot of hate from the community as a result, but he'll find a nice little 4K here, and Cloud9 can continue to cement themselves in this first half of the 5-0 scoreline. 9-2 for Shinobi. Solid work coming in from the in-game leader.
Tenz is being such a thorn on the side of Envy right now. Wherever he is, they're just walking into him, and he continues to get those kills. Already now, after 5 rounds, he's 11-1-3. So at that time, they try to clear out the A ramp to try to take down Tenz, while Shinobi's still playing on the heaven side across.
Whatever.
Everybody pinch and pincer to try to take down the Reyna, but the backstab was just perfect. So Tenz is doing a great job just to utilize himself as a bait too, to allow his teammates to put up numbers into the round. So that puts Envy back onto a save. We're changing pace a little bit right now for the attacker side, as they're all grouping up here towards this B Heaven and trying to walk into the We've got 3 players getting ready to counterattack.
Site playing ring around the road. Currently coming in from 10. Eventually he gets tired out. Picks up Device and Relics and Device 5 HP, despite the fact that the 2 top performers both died in the round. It's still a win for Cloud9 Blue. Envy may have found success in map number 1, but success is currently not something they've been able to find here thus far in map number 2. So
Dari relic
they
sama ini
desperately
harusnya
need to pick
Mitch.
up a round, or this is just going to spiral out of control. And I worry what would happen if we moved into that third map if they came off the back of like a huge blowout.
And the thing is here, Bach, the ones that are supposed to put up number
Get in my way.
are currently still
Perfect. Ole, 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 ole.
continues to hold his
Cheese.
as they are trying to
Ole, 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 ole. Oh, cheese.
Mame gets picked up there and
Cheese.
dispatches him, and that's it. They get a
Ole, 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 ole.
side, sorry. And actually the blades
Kabus, Mumi.
yeah, they were
Mami,
popped here
don't
from
kill
Mame.
anymore.
Couldn't get anything out of it.
Ole.
Right now. 0-7 by the way.
Kayak TSM kemarin nih, kayak gini nih anjing.
Storm that was popped. He didn't spend any money into that previous round, so he will be able to get an operator for Mame into this one here. And the money is still going to be decent right now for Envy to go for a rifle with food as well.
Because of the scoreboard orientation of KDA versus KAD, it's really hard to get super shooting. 0 kill, 0 death game with 7 assists. It's pretty unlikely. But
Ole, 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 ole.
the top performer struggling that last round. I don't know if they tried to
Ole.
go for that explode with the blast packs and the showstopper, and Caboose got legged by an AWP while trying to fly in. It slowed him down and it ruined the play. He was down to 30 HP. That's why he died so quickly. Couldn't even fire off the rocket. Now here we have a 1-for-1 trade early. That's at least promising for Envy. But they're gonna have to make something happen.
Yeah.
Sure, they spotted Shinobi in the early part of the round after losing their jet. But now what?
That's
Go
what I
to
mean, right,
Spike.
Bach? They
Go to
lost
Spike.
1 versus 1 to Shinobi when he had an op 2. So now it's gonna go into the hands of Crashies as they're gonna try to explode into inside.
Nice.
Ole, 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 ole.
Takes down
Cheese.
another target too.
Cheese.
The turret making it look easy right now.
30
The
seconds
last
left.
remaining member is
Cheese.
well, he's not really
Food.
playing with the rest of the team.
Ah, makanan nih, jadi
Back off
makanan
the
nih
play.
si Kamret.
He's gonna leap his way through the ropes to try to make it up to heaven in time.
Cheese.
Try and make
Cheese.
something happen.
Stat.
Left on the clock, stop,
Ah,
eliminated.
ho, ho.
Get caught
Rena.
for a smoke as Tens peaks the corner.
X0.
Empress was utilized, so that'll result in a cooldown of
Cheese.
the old points.
Ole,
Tens
ole,
will build
ole,
that
ole.
back up. But at this point, it's
Ole.
8-0. So I don't think he really
Ole.
cares if he has his ult or not. And we'll take a look at the scoreboard and continue to see
Ole,
just the
ole,
problems that
ole,
have
ole.
plagued Envy in this first
Ole.
half. They're going to
Ole.
relate to a lack of performance from some of their best players,
Can I get a
Mami
drop?
and Caboose.
Can I get a
0
drop?
and 8 on both of them. 15 and 2 for Tens, 12 and 2 for Shinobi. 27 kills between two players in 8 rounds.
Get him.
It's absurd.
Exactly. That's the story there. It was just like it's
Ah,
not
ah.
necessarily.
Ole, 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 ole.
It's a
Ole, wow, 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 wow.
Tens comes out,
Ooh.
gets 2 kills. Finally, Caboose.
Come
gets
on, come
his
on, come
first
on.
2 points on the scoreboard, but it's
Ole, ole, ole,
right
ole.
now, and enabling their
Ole.
players
I
to get
know
things done.
exactly
But
where.
suddenly, as I see that, we have FNS that's coming through on a 2 versus 2.
Mm.
This goes to the 360. A nice little casual 360. It's now the 1v1.
Ooh.
As it's going to be
Ooh.
the Raze battle. As you can
Ooh.
see, target gets blasted away. Look at the damage.
Come on, come on, come on.
Relics has this one very much under his control. The blast pack down.
Bro,
Just
bro.
goes out deep.
Mm.
Relics in the same
Wow.
position. Caboose.
Caboose.
Great round coming out from Caboose. As Caboose
Bam.
finally wakes up, the sleeping giant gets onto the scoreboard.
Sleeping giant.
But it's been a long time
Long.
since we've seen much action come in by way of Caboose or Mummy. So sure, great round from Caboose, a 3K, but the fact that that's the first 3 kills for Caboose is a
Ole.
bit disappointing.
Ole, ole, ole.
And they're going to need a Herculean
Ole.
performance similar to that for the
Ole.
remainder of this first half to try to keep it
My.
close.
Done
And you
kill.
gotta start somewhere. So
Somebody.
we're gonna start with the 3K and also a 1 versus 1 to win that round when he only had 19 HP. On the back of a thrifty round when they had 2 share shots and 2 frenzy kills from FNS to even it to a 2 versus 2 and make it a 1 versus 1 in the end. To even be able to dodge Relix's showstopper on that 1 versus 1 and still win it. That starts that confidence right now that Envy needs, and you hope that they continue it off that back and off that effort from FNS and from Caboose. And so far, though, they've taken a lot of back control. And the ultimate here from Shinobi is going to give that tell that they are trying to work towards his A side, but they still have 3 players there. So that's why nobody's rotating yet. And finally, the explosion's going to come from Envy.
Oh, come on! Oh!
As well from Shinobi. Relix is able
3
to
versus
find
3.
two, but Shinobi and Relix
Modo.
sneak through, but it doesn't work out so well. So Envy,
Spike
look at the
planted.
plant out of this one, and we're seeing a little life from them. The heart rate monitor is starting to just bleep just a bit. Tens. He's got targets waiting around the corner. Mitch starting to come through from A-ramp. Goes ahead and drops the ult. There's the showstopper.
Nice.
Prevents the rocket from coming out. Yet again.
No way!
Goes
No way!
doesn't work, and now that Killjoy ult comes through.
Ole! 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 Ole!
So well played.
Ole!
Cloud9. If they
Ole!
hadn't gotten that rocket off, even
Ole!
if he dies,
Ole!
just the
Ole!
rocket off, he could have prevented the ult from coming through
Ole!
eventually. Had Mitch put it down first, but the way that it all
Ole!
comes together,
Mumay,
waits
don't
until
kill
after
any
that
mouse.
point to drop the ult,
Mumay,
and it puts
mummy.
Mummy in an unwinnable position.
So difficult too, man. There's so much pressure on his back. Like we said, unfortunately, he's not getting any kills so far. Now he's stuck on a 2 versus 1 to try to clutch when they had a 4 versus 2, and their teammates are slowly falling behind. And that's just off a great flank from Mitch. Him breaking that trapwire and putting that ult down, I thought at that point you're just playing for exits and trying to hurt the economy of Envy so that you can move it forward to the next round and then break him later on after that. But
Warrior!
not only kind of break the momentum, you also break the
Run, bro!
allowing for them to win this 2 versus 4 for Cloud9, and they are looking unstoppable for this first half at least. We'll see if the story changes. Right now, it's
Run!
a story of tense.
A
Whoa!
little awkward as the fight doesn't really work
3
out
versus
well
3.
for Cloud9. Thought for sure we'd see more than that with the way they just ran through the dark cover straight into a double setup. But we still come down to a 3-on-3.
3 on 3.
Minute and 5 left on the clock as they start to work their way back towards heaven. You've got Breach currently sitting in hell, waiting at the bottom of that rope for whatever is coming that direction. Do they clear it? The ultimate question on their mind.
Whoa! Satu lagi.
Do kind of, but it's not quick enough.
Come on, bro.
Device to strike.
3.
Now FNS in a 1-on-2 and has no idea that he's got players on all sides.
Bam.
He's going to have to deal with the rays coming in from heaven, with
Oh.
the pink shells coming out. It actually connects. It's right on the money with FNS. But I love this play. Sneaks into this position. I don't think they're going to anticipate this. FNS is in a god tier position. Just has to hold the line.
Wee.
Find a second. No. Mitch with even just
Ole!
a sidearm.
Ole! Ole! Ole!
Low HP target.
Ole.
FNS. Again, a close round, but
Ole.
close doesn't matter anymore. It's 10 rounds on the board for Cloud9 on the
Let's
defense.
run to our suite.
Such a big numbers
Last
advantage now
round
for
for
Envy
the
to
half.
run into the site from that heaven, but somehow, like you
Ole!
said, trying to have
Ole!
two
Ole!
versus 1, yet Vice was it Vice? I think was still able to get 2 kills out of that before he fell. That's just unfortunate there for Envy, as everything else worked quite well when they were trying to take the mid side control first. But now after 11 rounds, Envy already at 20 kills. Mame's finally on the board, but is it too little too late? There's only 1 more round to go, and it's just going to be Envy looking to explode towards his B side,
Warrior.
where once again there's 3
Bomb
players there,
barrier.
and another time it's going to be Tens just around the corner, waiting to dispatch them.
Ayo. Masuk tuh. Let's go.
There's the rolling.
Aduh, kritis tuh si anjir. Aduh. Oh, ole, 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 ole. Oh. Oh. Wow, miss Tens. Ole, 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 ole. 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 Ole, ole, ole.
Today when we were actually looking at Envy play and the
Ole. Gue ingin denger kata-kata dari dia.
On the defense.
Man, yes, yesterday when
No
when
shot.
we were
Don't say
actually
it is.
looking at Envy play, and the other times that we watched Envy play on Split, we're like, well, we're gonna have to try
Okay,
to find a
no,
way to
yeah.
maybe
There's
ban,
no way that it's out. It's not even. Didn't
Split
they get
if we're
reverted or
playing
whatever?
against Envy.
No.
Ole, 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 ole.
Map. It was a close battle. Versus TSM towards the end, but so far here.
Ole.
Might be pushing cat. Could be Lauren,
The
So are
problem
all
is
sides coin flipped?
they can't make any mistakes. It starts out nicely for them with the pistol kill coming in from Mommy, and Caboose has some freebies. Sees of the map illustrated perfectly here in the pistol. CLOUD9 is having
Ole, 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 ole.
Mistakes so far, none whatsoever. They still have 5 alive, 5 full
Ole.
HP as well. If we look at the
Ole.
health bar at the top, I don't even think any of them got damaged by any armor yet either. So now with the spike down 2, they have the numbers advantage. They can just focus onto this site, and they're even playing it safe on top of that, just putting that smoke down, run that clock off, and then eventually just get the round into your side. But Tens says he doesn't want to be done with it yet. Really keeps going entry with his frenzy. He's free-firing first, and they're retaliating back. Finally, he manages to escape. But it's just going to be a matter of time before it's over, and it's just well placed how they
30
did it with
seconds left.
everything, the trap wires on top of that to catch them in that position for CLOUD9 trying to run into the site. Which should be 11-2 right now, especially with Vice down to 2 HP. Hands trying to use this as a one-way.
Finished. Okay.
10
I've
seconds
ever
left.
gotten a kill with the frenzy from
Player
more than like 2
remaining.
feet away, and he's making it look easy as he hits a dink shot as well on that last target before eventually falling. I like this move as well, going for the ward pickup. It doesn't really work out so well for Envy as Mummy tries to dash in. Vice is just looking to maybe get another kill or two. And almost did. But Envy pick up the first
kill him,
round
why?
that they absolutely
leave
didn't
alone.
find. And now they'll move into the next round with
Oh,
a little bit
24.
of oomph, but look at this.
24.
CLOUD9 has 0 chill. Tens has gone straight to a Bulldog purchase. He's saying, nah, let's put him in their grave right now. We're going to go for the buy here, and we're going to make this happen. I think Vice dropped the rifle over to 10 so he could buy full armor to back it up. I like this. I respect
I am the
style
ace.
coming in from CLOUD9.
I am the
Yeah,
king.
because I think in the end, Vice with no money, but hopefully had enough for utilities too. He's just going to be the one that's going to fault line and flash
There.
for his teammates to get across. Thankfully, right now though, for Envy, is that they don't have to face any type of against any type of jet. The only thing that could be a nuisance right now is if Skylar or Relic, is going to go for some blast packs and push aggressively into any of the areas they're trying to go into. So they start with a smoke up on ropes as they try to get control early into the A side. I thought they were going to try to sell a fake and just explode into A, but they are still looking to take control of this mid side first.
Mummy, sitting up in the mailroom, tries to deliver a bullet to the skull of the members of CLOUD9 trying to work their way into mid. This is a very slow and patient play, excuse me, for CLOud9. They peek their
Oh.
head down, and they spot that
Oh.
first target. Now they know the jig is on. They realize that this is a force buy coming out from them. The flash comes through. Crash is just blind. The flash also
Oh,
believes
that.
the Boobot, though.
Oh.
He's going to trace his position, and just like that, they've gained up some sight.
Oh.
And it's a quick shot coming out
Oh.
from Vice.
Ole.
With the
Ole, ole, ole.
12 rounds now on the board for CLOUD9.
Match point.
Match
Every
point.
time they get an opportunity
Ole.
to try and put their
Ole,
foot in the
ole,
door,
ole.
CLOUD9 slams it shut and slices their toes off.
The
Ole.
lurk play to sneak to move up towards
Ole.
the end to allow Relics to get that first kill was
Ole,
good enough.
ole,
Like,
ole.
you gotta hate it being crashes at that point. I mean, you got paranoia. You saw that the paranoia also got into the boom bot.
Double.
You shot it.
Double
so At
digit.
that point, you thought you broke it, so you could hold towards your A ramp. You get the first kill, but then you get exploded by the boom bot finding you right after because unfortunately you didn't dispatch of it. And that just opened things up there for CLOUD9 to take that round and secure that round quite convincingly.
Oh.
So now Mame, he's pretty much the only one that didn't buy on that previous round because he wanted to save for an op. So now he does have a Vandal to work with, and thankfully he's the first one to get the opening kill.
Go get it.
Relics is going to send that boom bot out hunting, and it's taken down quickly. CLOUD9 working their way into the mailroom. They've got Caboose waiting on the other side, and we know how good his sheriff can be. We saw it as it picked up the only round that Envy was able to win in that first half. But he falls off the ledge, whether accidental or not, it's going to impact the round. He tries to blast pack his way, and he'll boost himself up like an elevator onto the balcony. But CLOUD9 is playing this one so incredibly slow. And they're going to be taking it back towards the A site, where we've got 2 defenders currently,
30
but one
seconds
starting
left.
to sneak in that direction. That'll be Cypher. That should be FNS. So you've got Envy and a couple of players grouping up towards this A site, ready for the explosion that's about to come their way. There's the clear through. Food steps into the dark cover, doesn't work out so well.
10
Dismisses
seconds
in.
left.
Flying kill
One
coming out from
enemy
Crashies, who's found
Ooh,
another.
wow.
Ball up to Mitch, who gets taken down on the back lines. Envy stay alive. The question
Envy
is,
still
Envy
alive.
and for how long?
You definitely got to think
How
about
long?
it in that last round. The first kill that he gets is
Ole.
actually against Vice.
Ole,
So
ole,
despite them
ole.
having such a low buy on that force buy to stay alive for Envy, when CLOUD9 eventually wants
Ole.
to the site, you
Ole.
had one player with a stinger, one player with a sheriff. So making sure that Crashies had to be on point with his sheriffs to get those kills, that would have been possible if CLOUD9 still had Vice alive to help them with the fault lines and flashes into the site. So because of that, they basically just ran into the site after using the blast packs of relics, but he was able to get those backstabs right after. So thankfully, off of that, it's gonna be the round coming in for Envy, and it seems like a mixed buy now for CLOUD9 with 10 small
Blocking
numbers.
sight.
A trade back and forth, but it's Envy who comes out in the favorable portion of the exchange. Got Breach very low on HP,
Saving lah bro, saving.
trying to work their way away from that. So they lick their wounds early, and they'll fall back. Envy controls the early round, but not by a whole lot. Sure, you've got a low Breach, but we've seen some low HP players make some big plays in the past. Dark cover coming in, which could actually be beneficial. That could allow CLOUD9 to move across ramp and get into heaven, or even do what they're doing right now and just kind of huddle up, excuse me, inside the dark cover. There's the flashpoint
30
coming out.
seconds left.
Crashies is right around the corner, and that's the spike getting picked off from a distance. 25 seconds left. They need to make a move. Relics with a nice shot at least on the Crashies, but you've still got food lurking on the site.
enemy
A
remaining.
threat that is yet to be dealt with. He's been dinked now through the wall, but even Relics can't manage to finish him off. 4 rounds on the board for Envy. CLOUD9 might be able to find the win, but Envy's making them work for it.
And those guys haven't given up from up in for Caboose. Look at them right now, 8 and 7, really holding their ground on that mid-side take together. Lubby and Caboose holding it down for any type of pushes, any type of map control for CLOUD9 in the mid first.
Selesaiin dong map ketiga.
Down aggressively, you saw them pass by
Anjir.
that box, playing on the ledges and coming towards Robin and Sewers to get those frags to eventually fall off right after. That's going to put now CLOUD9 back in a safe situation. So they're still looking to get some sort of lurk play right now for the attackers, and it's still going to be Caboose spotted first, but as he swings towards that right, his teammates peeking out, and again, that duo working together to get that first kill.
I love that play, too, to kind of get into that position with Caboose just flying in with the blast pack to get an early positional advantage. Good damage coming out onto Relics through the wall. He's got the Frenzy right around the corner. The tripwire was down. Nice dink shot, at least, onto Food. But a 2-man advantage for Envy. Shinobi gonna try and work his way in with just a pistol. There's one on the balcony and one just nestled up behind the box. There's one setting in the Moombot. It'll blow up actually right in the face of Caboose, but by that point the rifle had already done the dirty work. Mitch, the only one surviving and trying to break into the site to potentially find a plant.
Aduh.
At least some site control.
Nice.
But there's that pink shells going down. Good go for this plant potentially, but decides to just take for the fight. And doesn't work out so well. 5 rounds for Envy. slowly putting themselves into a position where a comeback could be considered, but you still got to look at just the mountain of rounds that separates these two teams, and also the performance that's coming out from TenZ, that pop-off potential that could occur at any moment. 27 kills for TenZ. At one point, he and Shinobi were close, but he has since just hit the afterburners, and he's left everyone in his dust.
But still, when you look back at Envy, how TenZ, his storyline was able to be wherever.
Oh.
The push is nice out there. By Caboose with the showstopper. To
Narang
stop
dewa.
This is what I'm talking about. Very similarly to TenZ, Caboose and Mame seem to be at the right locations to get these first bloods and also weaken any type of attacking play. So after that showstopper, he's pushing all the way towards spawn. We're playing in that angle. He watch spawn and also hear footsteps if they're trying to run through sewers. But the thing is, though, Vice is walking, and everybody else is walking back from B towards spawn. So Caboose is in a tight spot. He's going to have to come up big here on his next kill against Shinobi, it seems.
Oh, nice.
Timing. Again.
I like the aggressive plays coming out from TenZ. I love the confidence that you see brimming over.
Yeah, that can no.
Oh, no,
Oh.
Flashies. I like that at least. He went for that initial peek, then hits the Rolling Thunder instead. Playing a little bit risky at first and then safe, but had he gotten that in the right order, it probably would have produced a serious success for him. Still seems to be working out initially as he finds an opener, but traded out by Mitch.
30 seconds
2
left.
on 3. Numbers favoring Envy. You've got the ult for the Killjoy as well. So you've got lockdown available, and now Omen has the port. So there's flexibility. And you can see that ult being called out as the spike is in the hands of Omen. I don't think it's gonna make a difference though. Mummy is there. Well read from Mummy as he goes cross map on a hunt for that Omen player, and it works out nicely for them. Envy now have 6 rounds on the board.
Wah, susah kali satu kali.
They crawl back into the game.
Yeah, they're definitely not intimidated by the overall.
Kayak kemarin nih anjing, lama.
They're playing on this second.
Selesaiin gak?
Or Team Envy. Even then, when Caboose kind of died towards that spawn side here, I think he only spotted Omen at that 14, but knowing that it was a spike carrier that kind of killed him, or just that he got picked off when they were trying to trade back against him, we saw that Food immediately went from the shadows outside of the elbow A side, while the rest of that Food was slowly pushing forward towards this mid as well. They didn't really push outside of B, if I'm not mistaken, because they still had a camera to play towards that side if they tried to walk back towards that area for CLOUD9. So Envy did very good here to readapt after that first kill from the showstopper, and also after losing a player mid-round.
8 udah kayak ada 7 nanti.
Mummy posted up with that off, waiting. CLOUD9 currently has a lot in their toolkit. They've got Showstopper, they've got Lockdown, they've got the Rolling Thunder as well, but they don't have Shinobi. As the Omen was taken down by an aggressive play coming out from Mummy with the off. Flashed out of position is FNS though, and you've got Caboose still here back of sight. Somehow got a second one spamming through. TenZ is at least there with a trade. Relic spots a target as he tosses a blast pack up. But there's quite a few bodies building up around the site. You've already got everyone here. The knives coming out just like that. Snap of your fingers.
Terbang dewa.
Back onto the site. No spike plant today. So CLOUD9 trying to make it work, but no dice. Play continues on with Envy now just 5 rounds away from taking us into overtime.
You see from that scoreboard, he's basically juggling this off right now, knowing that if they lose this round, it's pretty much over. So Food is juggling a Phantom and also an Operator, just so that if he misses a shot looking towards his A-side elbow, he can switch back over to a Phantom and then hold the site. So double op set up now for the defenders of Envy, and Food is going to be potentially the first point of contact as CLOUD9 is grouping up towards this area. But it's still going to be Envy putting up this fight. It's not over yet right now, as they're still giving this mid control available for CLOUD9, and they're just stacking up at sites. CLOUD9 is just looking for an aggressive push here at this point. The smokes are coming soon.
Well, there's that Killjoy ult. We'll see if that's what it's going to take. Food is in position, pinging out the turret. Has to be careful as that ult is going to connect. He's
Kena. Masuk. Masuk.
So there's 2 players actually to take.
Habis.
It's an easy couple of kills for them to gain access to the site.
Menangan
This
ya.
could potentially be it.
Oh,
Cloud9 is coming in with a spike play out of this, and it's a 4-on-3, and they've still got the Rolling Thunder to play with.
That is so unfortunate.
Oh, nice. Cheers! Ole, 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 ole. Ole, ole. Cheers!
Didn't connect onto the second
Cheers!
one. It's all up to Crashy.
Cheers!
Spots the first. Vice falls.
Cheers!
Set up
Ole,
gets that last
ole,
goal.
ole,
Into
ole.
a third and
Ole.
final match of this grand finals. And I was gonna say your
Ole.
luck. It was just unfortunate there that when Food actually saw the turret that was being popped up there by Mitch, he was like, oh, the turret's not spotting me, so I'm just
Ole,
gonna
ole, ole, ole.
push into the site, and then suddenly as it spots something, it's like, holy crap, I can't get a kill anymore with the operator before trying to shadow step away. And that was probably the demise of how Cloud9 got into the site so easily right after.
Yeah, you look at that play and you think, okay, this is a risky play, and if it works out, he might
Di nang mana, oh, pasir.
step away. But then the turret comes out, and the turret gets a few pulses in, and all of a sudden he's slowed down. His plan gets derailed. He tries to stick around to still find that shot, decides to shoot at the turret instead, but it's that momentary decision that costs him his life. He ends up getting stuck in the lockdown, gets slowed down as a result, and Cloud9 is finally able to close things out. It was hard fought from Envy. I gotta give them credit continuing to keep themselves in the game despite the fact that they had their backs against the wall.
Fucking tough.
But now we move on to that third and final map, and it's going to be Bind, where Cloud9 did win the coin flip, so they'll get to start on their choice, which is going to be the defensive side on Bind. Before we talk about that too much, we're going to go ahead and throw things to a break. When we come back, we will see who will be escaping the open qualifiers here for first strike as the number one seed. Is it going to be Envy or will it be Cloud9? Stay tuned to find out. Seed, is it going to be Envy?
No more trying. This place is I'll never belong. Cause this guy now is gone. If you think I'm such a happy person, no, you are wrong by saying my laughter is louder than yours. Shut your freaking mouth. No one knows what I feel and what I suffer.
No one.
So keep your thoughts and stop assuming that someone is always fine. If you think I'm such a happy person, no, you are wrong by saying my laughter is louder than yours. Shut your freaking mouth. No one knows what I feel and what I suffer. No, they don't know. So keep your thoughts and stop assuming that someone
Cepet jancu.
Living all alone, kinda forgot it's been that long.
Wah, 400. Anjay.
Trying to be a little bit strong, and it is not that easy to be exactly who I was. My shit is done, now it's time for me. Try to moving on, 'cause if you think I'm such a happy person, no, you are wrong by saying my laughter is louder than yours. Shut your freaking mouth. No one knows what I feel and what I suffer. No, they don't know. So keep your thoughts and stop assuming that someone is always fine.
With the exception of, again, because TSM had the
I keep thinking when my friends let me, I can go insane. Mom was right about that, and now I can't trust again. But I think I don't really need no friends. I'm alone, it's not that bad. Then again, it hurts me so bad, and people just don't know that. Maybe this time I'ma take back what is mine. All the smiles, all the joys, all are mine. There will be no more crying, there will be no more trying. This place is I'll never belong, 'cause this guy now is gone. If you think I'm such a happy person, no, you are wrong by saying my laughter is louder than yours. Shut your freaking mouth. No one knows what I feel and what I suffer. No, they don't know. So keep your thoughts and stop assuming that someone is always fine. If you think I'm such a happy person, no, you are wrong by saying my laughter is louder than yours. Shut your freaking mouth. No one knows what I feel and what I suffer. No, they don't know. So keep your thoughts and stop assuming that someone is always fine.
Karena ada punya.
His moment crashes on the Sova. And we'll get the rest as well as we kick off this pistol round and see how things are going to get
Oh, tumbal.
It's awkward to
Terlalu
see.
lincah temanku.
Runs into everyone and can't quite make it work. The aggressive
Aduh.
being punished currently by Envy as CLOUD9 wanted to take the battle to their doorstep, and Envy was waiting for it.
Yeah, maybe they
Akhirnya
forgot that
lagi.
even if teammates are getting or their opponents are getting paranoid, they might still have a line of fire where they're just spraying
Jab
pistols.
sucker.
And you got caught into that for relics at that point. It was a perfect paranoia. But I think at that point you try to look back towards the right side, but I know the idea. You blind the ones on the right, you try to kill the ones on the left if they're trying to pinch in on that short A side. But as they try to read into that strat, it worked out, but they just couldn't land the shots unfortunately. So they lose 2 players early. And now Cloud9 are forced to stack somewhere, and they're stacking in the right spot, actually. They have 3 players inside this B side, and the full roster of Envy are currently getting ready to walk into this site.
Envy. Now
Relic
moving back
mati ya.
towards B. This is a best case scenario right now for Cloud9. You got the attack here, but they needed
Nah.
Shinobi to step up. Mitch is at least able to get one
Oh,
step.
mati.
Somehow is still alive, but the hot hands lands and
Ah.
he immolate. And it doesn't work out so well for him in the end. So Envy pick up same amount of rounds on bind as they did in the first half on split. Already a better start here than the last
This
match.
is my spot.
And we'll see if they can keep things going. Only
This
one
is my
kill in that
intel.
pistol round, and it was Mitch with the frenzy and a frantic spray through both a dark cover and a cyber cage, with no information whatsoever, just sort of a chance kill coming out.
And that's one of the things you have to look out for when we talk about utility usage from the Envy, or just in general. Envy likes to do like the cyber cages and hot hands within that. So as they're trying to run through, or they're like, oh, I'm stuck in it, I don't want to do any audible cues to try to run out to give away my position, hot hands comes down onto your feet, and you start running, as we saw just Mitch before he got picked off here at that B side. But this round, Caboose pushing forward, already taking new control, but Relix is close range, gets the buckshot in the face of Caboose, and everybody's teleporting back towards the B side.
A nice way to kick things off here. For the attacking side, though, they're going to manage to scoop up control that B site. They'll go ahead and secure the spike as well. The pistol of Tens eventually finds the kill. The heal will help, but it won't take them up to full reach. Sitting below 50 HP as they group up now and come through into Hookah. They've actually managed to make this work. They've brought it down now to 2, and the Sova gets dropped down to just around 5 HP. Mummy's on site with a full boat, but he's got to be careful as the drone comes through. Look at the damage that's being dealt.
Bisa ni menang masih.
Still alive. Has to go to the side.
Man, whoa.
There it is. Cloud9 make it work. It starts with the shotgun, putting a nice little hole in the chest of that.
Holy baby.
Managed to revert and go for the retake over on the B site. And despite the firepower advantage that Envy had, Cloud9 just makes it work.
Well, they forgot that there's Tens. Yes, Tens only gets 1 kill, but that's one important kill in there. That's a ding from a Sheriff for 145 damage. A second one to get the kill when you had a person posted up to look towards the defender spawn flank, up on that awning, on that cubby at the entrance of that B side. But the way that you saw that drone that came through, when we were trying to hide in the back of the site, you really needed your teammate to try to break that open. And as soon as it was shot at, but it wasn't broken, the position was given away, where he kind of scrambled on that 2 versus 1. And could eventually got the 2 kills, but now that you wasted so many bullets, you couldn't try to play like any type of flank play.
Oh, run.
Here to even things up,
Anjay.
round rather, a full save coming in for Envy.
Kabus mati ya.
As they lose 1 player early, trying to take control of Showers.
That's what makes Tens playing their
What
best.
Tens? Ngekill what
So,
Tens?
for a long time, we've praised Jet as being one of the strongest initiators because of the escapability.
Ole.
As they try to make their way onto the side after losing that initial battle, they get nothing. Cloud9 comes away with a flawless round victory that allows them to pad out both the stats and the bank accounts. 600 for Relics. He's the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to credit accumulation. Envy, they're going to spend up here. But again, no ops in play. Vice is on an SMG, as is Shinobi. So they're approaching this one as a bonus round, which is fine as they're going to have so much money to fall back on. Hopefully they can get something going. Vice going to go aggressive off the bat with a recon dart. The same fired back at them, giving away their positions.
Run!
Yeah, Mitch was the one that was spotted.
Run!
A couple of paint shells that are being thrown, a paranoia. They're going to try to rush into this right now. Taking control at least of this orb. It's still halfway before the showstopper is ready here for food. So they just want to take advantage.
Whoa!
Now they try to take control of the B side. How does that still blow up in front of your face? Mitch is down to 61, but they're still converging in, but they're still on the ground. Mitch now under heavy attack. It's forced to put down his ultimate lockdown, but they're all dropping like on it.
Key!
While not
Key!
nail everything.
Cloud9 looking solid. Yeah, I mean, they just put their foot down and said no, and Envy couldn't do much to get past it. Yet again, it's a slow start for 2 of the players of Envy. This time, though, it's Food and Crashies. Last time it was Caboose and Mummy on split.
This is a species!
Not yet on the scoreboard.
Just
There's
Bella!
still time. They won the pistol, lost to a Eco in the round that follows. And they've been losing rounds since then, but there's still time. Back down to pistols for the time being for Envy. Lost to a Eco in the round that follows. Again, you see Tens locking down Showers, losing rounds since then, but has his ult available. Empress, for the time being, the increased fire rate. Very scary when encountering a player with aim the likes of Tens. Envy just grouping up currently, and they're sitting back for what appears to be a short A push, and they're going to be a lot of players currently waiting for them. Now Relics for the and yeah, the initial few just completely obliterated. Now Mummy does actually manage to spot Shinobi and take him down. Chance is here and he's still shooting him away. As the spike drops and Evan trying to get through the portal.
Ole, ole, ole,
And
ole.
again, 4 players
Ole.
Cloud9, and you can see
Ole.
what that's doing to the money. 9,000, 7,000, 7,800, 7,600, and 7,100 for Shinobi. There is serious stockpiles of cheddar built up for Cloud9.
Crash is foot, belum ngekill sama sekali, Bu. Mampus. Good luck, sir.
Counter paranoia where the crossfire is set up with 2 of the top fighters being Tens and Relics. A side pretty much on lockdown. But the second time, this is something that Envy does a lot too. It's trying to take control of Octagon, trying to take control of Long Beach early into the round. And they're still doing it this round here. The thing is though, Cloud9 is contesting it back with their own recon darts when they can, and also just playing it really great.
Ole, 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 ole. Ole. Ole.
Trying to move into the site. You got to readapt that a little bit here, and even into this round, as they're being read here by Cloud9. Okay, they're trying to work out towards this long B again. Everybody is rotating from Cloud9 as well. There's only Shinobi playing towards this lamps again, but he could TP quite easily to pinch back later on when the execution. Joke's over. You're dead. It begins.
Well, there's the run back being used.
Run!
Caboose is going to charge in first. The flash was on the money, but for some reason pulls out the knife to jump around the corner. Bit of an interesting decision.
Ooh.
No stopper, and it's
Ole, 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 ole. Run, Chris, run.
Who's taking the portal and hoping to get a spike plant out of this scenario. Now, Crashies does have his ult available, so
30
there
seconds
is a
left.
chance that he could use that ult to try and prevent the spike from being
Ole.
planted. He's going to have to do some serious legwork to get it to that point. There's a perfect Lear coming out. That's going to make things so much harder. Sure, he finds the kill, but look at the cost. 25 HP remains. Gets distracted by the leaping target, and Relics will round the bend and close out another round here for Cloud9. That's 5 on the board compared to just 1 for Envy.
So the salvation at least is that even though Tens popped off his Empress, he's still dead, so he wasn't able to accumulate more points for more kills. So
Ole.
it's going to be a little bit longer for that star player of Cloud9 to charge up the next Empress going through. But again, they're trying to go.
Ole, ole, ole.
That single mistake is a huge, the biggest mistake there for that execution for Caboose. Having to switch out to his knife, that fully cancels things out where they don't gain any type of grounds into the B execution after that. You looked at the X's across the board on that minimap, you had them die at elbow and still die.
Mantu, nggak ada perlawanan anjing.
Press into this B side, let alone hear the first numbers being punched in onto the spike, be provided into the B side.
Nah tuh. Ole, 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 ole. Ole, 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 ole.
Going for at least this econ to start things off this
Run to run.
towards this A side. It forced somewhat they forced no rotation actually, but they forced a forward
Run.
four from that train. But
Done.
like I said, into the next gun round,
B, 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 B.
to try to clear out elbow.
Oren B.
They're going to try to continue to work towards this long B for Envy.
Using that camera to get some intel. Look at the amount of utility out on the site from the Killjoy. The nanos.
Ole, 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 ole.
Not able to finish
Ole.
third target.
Ole.
Pretty heavy damage.
Ole, 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 ole. Ole.
Makes it a little bit
Ole, 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 ole.
and it's another round.
Ole.
Echo of
Ole.
that first map, or that second map, excuse me, the first half from Split, as Cloud9's defense looks so incredibly good. But a big part of that too is that Envy just cannot get their money in order. You know, they aren't really finding much success. They've only had 2 spike plants in the last 6 rounds. And one of those was like a 1v4 panic port over to the A site from B. It feels like, for the most part, Envy just can't get anything going at all.
And you saw them hesitating it a little bit too, what Mummy should buy into that round. Should he go for the offensive operator? Should he go for a rifle? They're going to opt to go for full ARs instead. While they're trying to clear out a little bit here towards this
Flying
mid side,
drone.
short
Flying
game, all
drone.
5 players are stacked up there. So they're going to play off
Man.
the back here of the recon owl, and then the paranoia, I will not give any information because that's the first one. Shinobi.
Oh. Oh.
That ult
Parpuran.
saw that a couple times, a couple of cancels. The Rays in the past.
Oh.
Distance.
Ole. 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 Ole.
Fury.
Ole.
From being an advantageous position for Envy to now being an even 2-on-2. Now Mummy's in heaven, and Crashies is able to sneak over towards that default position. We don't see the spike planted there all that often. I like the blast pack utilization that allows them to
Oh.
and the nade
Even.
is good enough. And now Mummy, what is he going to be able to do here? Has to spam
no,
through the
Even
box.
anjing.
Actually does connect. So now it's down to the one-on-one. They didn't get the spike to halfway. Fake port coming out. I like the move from Mummy. And he's just going to start spamming.
Ole. 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 Ole.
Or 28 HP.
Ole.
All that's
Hey.
there. In the
Sucker.
end, for Vice.
Sucker.
Just handled a
You
little bit
motherfucker.
at this point.
Ole. 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 Ole.
Survive the round, but it's a round win nonetheless.
And that, the idea of the shadow.
So easy, sucker.
There for Mame.
Ole. 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 Ole.
That even if the shadow step came down, he knows that it would be so close to him that he could get off it at the same time too. So he read that fake and he just kind of stick it. And while the spray was happening first, it was just a random spray. It wasn't actually even tapped yet on that spike. So we were guessing for that shot for Mame, which allowed Vice to just go for that wide swing and go for that kill right after. But now let's see if they have that money. If the money is right now for NV, as they did get the spike plant, they do have the rifles across the board. Small shield, but again, now finally you have Crashes moving forward. And this is not common. CLOUD9 throughout this whole half has always had Mitch and the Silva also playing towards that elbow. So just ult into there and try to get into the side.
Tense. Tense. No tense. No. 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 No.
It's going to be a clash on the B site as utility gets expended from both teams. There's the ult coming out from Mix.
Oh.
There's still Shinobi to deal with, and the fight ends up going the direction of CLOUD9 at first, but then it spirals back to Envy's favor. The nade comes out, but it's a little too late to stop the plant. Relics is swapped over to the up, and we'll see if that's going to be enough. as he's not
Operator.
coming out from
Operator.
So, tactics be damned. Just run into the B site. It seems like just
Exactly.
a full bore B push. You know, when all else fails, rush B. I do want to point at the fact that it feels like when we watch teams who are good on bind, one of the things you'll see them do is use the Rays to clear out Hookah every round on attack. That's the default. You see teams do it time and time again. Immortals was really good on it with their old roster, and they still do it with the current one as well. We're not seeing that from Envy. In fact, we're seeing a general disregard for Hookah as they've put most of their focus more towards long and maybe send one player Hookah.
That's
I kind of
Envy's
wonder.
play style.
Yeah, like I kind of wonder if they would have a little bit more success if they used Food's Boombot to clear it out the way we've seen so many other teams do that in the past.
Well, right now, it's how Envy does it to try to clear out towards that long is usually to play off literally that Silva drone that's going out there towards long B. Then you have the Rays that close by that you could actually run with something done as long as falls right after. But nonetheless, though, the Lurker's coming towards his B side. The entrants are right. It's a 4 versus 4 situation where Envy, they sort of have this spike,
Aduh.
but the spike has
Tiga-tiga nih.
and traded off. You still have one lurking across. It's that Silva that actually droned it out at the beginning of the round, where now Crashes has to fall back and wait for his teammates. FNS has pushed all the way up towards spawn, gets the first kill onto Mitch, but doesn't know the last two players. But he plays a smart move to fall back and play the numbers advantage on this close plan situation.
It's a 2-on-3. Envy in a great position to put another round on the scoreboard, and another round they desperately need. Dark cover comes out from Shinobi. There's 1 in showers and 2 in U-Haul. A deep recon dart.
Your left.
And some spam coming out from Vice. Almost connects. Now that paranoia is right on the money. That blinds Vice for days. Trying to look for him. Tapping. You can see that the points coming out, the pings on the spike. They're looking for him. He's not on it though. not even able to survive as Mummy comes through with a flying jumping classic. The spike will detonate and, whoops. Well, I'm sure he's giggling in the voice chat right now, but that's an expensive death as he now loses the op and has to rebuy. And the rest of the team's like, dude, you should have been running away. Like, the spike detonated. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. At least he has that money to buy that op, and you also are able to drop a rifle for food if needed be. But like I said before, when Mummy had that opportunity to buy an operator, he actually still went for a rifle. So they might still just go for full AR into this round and try to figure out what they want to do with this. But just to get back to what you were mentioning before in terms of like teams taking control of Fuka, at the same time in terms of that B fight, I gotta harp it up again on that ultimate for that Soba. Teams like T1 were Daze or Gangsta with Immortals. They always just, even before I will just literally just Hunter's Fury from elbow into long B and vice versa to gain control of that B side, and I think they should utilize that to get into the sites. There. Case closed, page turn. Let's move into the action now as we have FNS, the one that's trying to get the information first towards that short A, gets picked off, so the rest of them have to work back without their leader to figure out how to move into the site.
Looks like they're going to be working back to A, where you've got the softer defense currently. Shinobi and Relics.
Joke's over. You're
Three
dead.
players over on B, and uh-oh. This is a little bit scary. Caboose is going to go in first. Paranoia is right where it needs to be, but Shinobi has to back off after that initial kill. And he does. Seeing as well on the other side, you've got Mitch now pushed up in mid, ready to get the flank, but you've got falling through the nade. Ball.
30 seconds left.
Follow up by way of Shinobi. Shinobi's found two, and that's the spike planter going down 10s in the
Ole! Ole, ole, ole!
After giving Envy a little bit of action here in the first half.
Ole, 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 ole.
The end of it.
Ole.
Things out 9.
Ole. Ole.
As the fans here, you say they're trying to put the cap on it for Cloud9. The rest of the Envy fans are saying no cap, no cap. We actually do want to see a closer matchup. I know the context is different, but it's a dad joke. Guys, play with me on that. That being said, though, it was looking at Envy, the way that they try to run that towards that lamps control. A lot of the teams like to do that with the blaze wall and just run through. I like how Cloud9 readapted to that one. Like you said, Shinobi, when he fell back after killing the run it back from Foon, they actually played towards the front of the site instead, pushing Relics, pushing Shinobi towards that front of the game. On them all the way back when they're trying to get the spike plan for the kill. Next round, though, was just going to be them trying to push without trying to go for any blaze wall, any type of control. It's just going to be another all like they did towards this B side, and it pays off in their favor. So in this last round, they still have that Hunter's Fury that they're hopefully going to use it for once in this half, and also a showstopper for Envy to try to secure this round.
I mean, their most successful rounds were explode strats. And you look back at the rounds they were able to win, and you kind of look back and go, man, what if they figured this out sooner? That these rounds were like their bread and butter. Now the away Mitch's position, that post is right on the money. Nice way It's an exclamation point, sure, at the end of the first half, but the scoreline in the end is not healthy for Envy whatsoever. They switch over to the defensive side now, and we'll take a look at the replay from that first half. Down how Envy found themselves in this position. They kicked things off with the pistol round win, but it was that play there, Mummy on the back end of the bin on B mission. They kicked only getting two and then falling, but you know, that round was problematic, and then it was almost all Cloud9 for a long while.
I think even before that, just a little bit, you're looking at that the round that came in for Cloud9 with the pistols. On that second round that they turned it around on a retake, and they still were able to win that.
Slowly, bro.
The economy was so difficult for Envy to get it right, to actually bring and pull in a couple of rounds that they needed. But 8-4, in the end, still pretty decent, actually. I'm not going to discount Envy now that they take the side of the defender spawn, or the defender side, rather. They could still have that situation where they could amount to an easy comeback because, again, this is a map that Envy is comfortable on. and they are also 5-0. When you're looking back at this pregame, I was looking on Twitter before, and Shinobi was tweeting out like, "Oh, we threw a Ascent for fun, so that we could practice Vine for seeding." So of course it's a troll tweet, but at the same time it shows how Cloud9 knows how strong Envy could be on this map. So them taking that defender side, making it 8-4, they have that moment of salvation with that.
If you look back at the matches they played on this map as well, they were able to beat T1 and
Wis,
a
one
team
tap.
earlier
Di sini
in
dia
the bracket
sembunyi.
called Destin. They
Tinggal
lost
nunggu
the
dah.
first half from the attacking side.
Oh, masuk.
They ended up winning against T1, and then against Destin, they lost it 3-9, and they still brought it back. So
Oh.
he certainly has opportunity here, but
Oh.
waits almost a little too long. And it doesn't work out so well. Mummy's trying to get past that turret, the shock dart out in front of him. Won't make too much of a difference. Nice leer, but it is taken care of pretty quickly. Envy now down to just 2. Crashies with a nice pickup as they try to make their way out. Crashies gets 1 as he falls into the site, but an immediate kill following from Vice. Finds success for Cloud9 in the pistol. 9-4. You wanted to see them win that pistol round and return fire, but they're going to have to wait a bit, or they're going to have to do what Cloud9 did to them in that first half. They're going to have to win it here and try and turn things around.
Yeah, I kind of also
Good
wish
luck,
that
sir.
Fire was also the open fire. You're trying to be very patient and trying to backstab a couple of guys on Cloud9 once you got into the site. I think that was Mummy, right? That was holding that tight angle by the double boxes inside that site. A split second longer or a split second earlier, he would at least caught one off guard after getting the first kill, and at least if he died, he took one with him. But of course, you are trying to be a little bit more trigger disciplined. They didn't check the corner. You think the luck is on your side, but unfortunately, Lady Luck wasn't.
Itulah bang.
And Cloud9
Nikmatin aja bang.
the entries inside that site. But I think, again, you should have just shot like you kind of saw the.
Ya. Selesai ujian ku gawe tu.
By 15, 8, and 5 is 10's just behind him.
Aduh, aduh.
The first burst shot with that hold on.
That was timed so well. So well.
Wow.
Exactly. It was beautiful to watch, but not in the receiving.
Wow.
Now Crashy's looking for some
Try again.
going for that jiggle jump, and he's gonna hear a lot of bulldogs shooting at him. He manages to come out of it pretty healthy. Only some armor being damaged at that point, but you do have the recall now that's coming out too, so they are looking for another explosive entry into the B side. Towards that back of the side, a partial
Mainkan.
but it's Relicton 10s that opens up this B side. It's open for business, easy for a plan. Envy is forced to come back and rotate with a 5-on-3, but now that they still have so much utility from Cloud9 to cover up the spawn side, we have to come up with a early defense right now.
The rocket doesn't really do any damage. They do pick up the first on their attempted retake as 10's peeks out a little too wide from Cubby. Flash does at least blind them momentarily as they try to make their way out onto the site. But somehow they've gotten it down to a 2-on-1. It's all up to Food. And Relix says, no way, you didn't use the magic word. Relix will close out the round 11 on the board for Cloud9. Relix was the one that got things started by blast packing his way through Hookah, an area that just didn't see much contention from Envy. And what do you do at this point if you're Envy? You just do whatever you can. You can see the buy reflects the situation that they're in. You've got a Guardian in play, a Vandal, 2 SMGs, and a Sheriff. And we'll see. It's going to be an SMG. Feeling that a little bit over the Guardian. Understandably so. Cloud9 just needs 2 more rounds. And
2
they'll be
more.
moving into next week's qualifier as the #1 seed. Surprising many, myself included. I don't mean any disrespect to Cloud9, but with what we've seen from other teams throughout the last several months, I wouldn't have pegged Cloud9 to stomp and storm through the bracket the way that they have. Kudos to them, hats off for their performance, and the same goes for Envy.
Speaking of Envy, at the beginning of this round, you saw that Recon Owl come out through the teleporter just so that we could try to get the orb over towards that shower side control for Envy, so that if it happens that they don't win this round here, they have as many chances on their end following this round to try to catch up and bring this into overtime. So far, it's looking to be in favor on paper of CLOUD9.
Mati temanmu.
Weaponry that they have, and
Mati
also
temanmu, bro.
and now they continue to wallbang, and FNS never saw that coming. Tense gets the wallbang, takes him down into another 5-on-3 with an open sight into B.
You should run.
That's a great move from Food to get into Hookah.
Selesai nih.
They're gonna keep making their way out, but my God, Cloud9 just looks so good right now.
Champion
the
ko lang.
retake falls apart as quickly as it starts.
Match point.
12-4.
Nice point.
Cloud9 8 rounds up over Envy, and this is likely the end here as Cloud9 is scraping together loose change, reaching into the couches, looking for extra credits to try and field out a buy, and what they've found will not suffice. They've got pistols in play. Mummy doesn't have much. What's he gonna do? He goes down to the SMG. Should see a similar buy come in from Food, and we do. They've got 2 rifles, one of which is the Bulldog, and 3 SMGs. To say this is suboptimal would be kind of hitting it right on the head. As I say that, though, they've actually managed to kick things off quite nicely. They brought it to a 4-on-3, but it's quickly turned back around. FNS has upgraded to a rifle, and there is one right around the corner. The Boombot's going to lead them in first, but FNS continues to punish from the back end of the play. This is really well played, but in the end, they're still making it onto the site. So you've still got Shinobi in position with the spike, and they might actually run through. If they run through to B, this would be a brilliant play. Crashies is watching for it.
They are going to clear that 50 though, so Crashies has to win that fight. If not, it's an open side. The thing is, look at Food. He didn't fully rotate yet from that flank. So he's staying towards that teleporter. They know they're going to escape through. Now he has the upper ground though towards that window. So the alarm bot's going to get triggered from FNS pushing forward. They know a rotation's coming, but at least Caboose still has the angle from that window, but it's planted towards that back. The turret is up as well.
Spike
and Caboose is just going to try to catch him off guard as soon as the spike gets planted. So he's looking towards this left side. Shinobi is playing inside that tin, and Mitch is playing towards the elbow. You cannot be any unluckier from the positioning you're at with the advantage. And even FNS falls down towards the garden, and also the turret spotted the other one. Thankfully, though, we do have a running back, but an Omen teleporter as well. Caboose gets the kill on Mitch.
Mati ko yang di Hookah. Mati ko yang di Hookah.
Goes for the full from the shadows outside Hookah. Is that? That's a 1 versus 1 now. Hunter's Fury still available. We have to go for that defuse.
Defuse
dia. Nearly impossible for them to get it for Cloud9, and Crashes gets to the fuse. Much needed. But he dies with it too, so Shinobi does his job at least in the end. That it's going to still be a very broken low buy for Envy into this round.
A weird decision made by Shinobi to pop into the shadows and go for the kill on the player coming back into Hookah. Sure, it works. You know, they drop the Phoenix, but then the spike is not planted for you. If the spike was planted on the front side of that site, I think Shinobi wins that round and right there. But because it's planted on the other side, it just makes it unwinnable. I mean, you saw it. The Sova just sat there and stuck it the whole time. Now, Food has gotten aggressive and is going to send a deep rocket down. It forces Relics right into FNS. It's face the rocket behind me or the unknown in front of me. And he goes for the unknown. Regardless of what happens, his demise is inevitable. So it's a 5-on-4 advantage for Envy. Again, that aggression towards short seems to be working out for them. They're playing defense the way they played offense to find success. Just hold W. And it seems to be working out, at least to a certain amount. Now, you do have the jump peak coming through, Paranoia to back up Food, but Food is actually taken down as the spam allows them to trace that target back to its destination. And they make it a little bit easier for themselves. Now they pop one through the portal, and Shinobi's going to back off as the rest of the team is starting to work up mid now, where you've got Phoenix positioned outside of Longport, and you've got Sova likely jump peeking on the B site, spotting towards Hookah. And that's
30
exactly
seconds
what's
left.
Crashies is looking for that intel, and he's going to get it. So there's the recon dart coming out from Crashies. He's going to go high to try and give away position. And that's in case they decide to jump out, but that makes it a little bit too easy there for Vice to take down Crashies. There's still positions being given away. The Empress ult has been popped, and it It's now a 3-on-2 with numbers advantage for
10
Cloud9. The
seconds
spike
left.
going down. Mummy has made
Spike
it into
planted.
hookah. With 10 seconds left, the spike touches pay dirt. Shots coming out through the dark cover puts Mummy down on a 5 HP, and that puts a lot of pressure on FNS to save the day. The Nano Swarm making it harder for FNS to move into position, and now the Hunter's Fury
GG.
as well. Nothing can be done.
GG.
Cloud9 close things out, 13-5 over Envy, and they will be our #1 seed moving into the closed qualifiers next week.
Wow, man oh man, and Cloud9 looks so strong and good on this map. They totally shunned me. I said it was going to be pretty much Envy's map. They look so comfortable on previous rounds, undefeated going into the bracket 2, into this grand finals, and it's still going to be Cloud9 sealing the deal and most convincingly on that defender side to start things off, but even on the
slash
deal and
player
most
of the
convincingly
series
on that
was. Let's
defender
do
side to
player of
start
the
things off,
series.
but even on
I
the
know it
attack,
says
they
game,
look so
but
strong
just think
as
about
well.
the entire
They look
series. Who do you guys think was C9's
perfectly took advantage
MVP?
of,
Go ahead and
Envy's
vote.
mistakes too onto that map for being a team less practiced on Vine.
Go
to
ahead
still
and
be able to
vote.
get that result in the end.